Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here at the Ruttenberg Library. Wanted to come to you today and give you a video. It's been a couple, maybe even 3 weeks since I've done a video. Life here at the Ruttenberg Library has been extremely busy. We just got done with school, got done with our classes yesterday, sent the kids on their merry way, and got a couple more days of teacher in service, getting grades straightened out, looking at test scores, talking about plans for next year and all that stuff before we head off to summer. I think I've shared with you many times that during the school year, those last 2 to 2.5 months are extremely busy. We had state testing, I had middle school track going, high school baseball started right there at the very beginning of May, and we've just been, I feel like I've just been chasing my tail. I'm like a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest. I can't keep up. But so that would be the lack of videos. I apologize for that. But hopefully in the next week or two, I can start getting videos out a little bit more regular now that school is wrapping up, finishing up, and but anyway. My daughter, I think I've shared this with you too, my daughter just recently graduated, and that was a lot of fun. We had a graduation reception for her on Saturday, and then she graduated on Sunday. Had a really good turnout. Thank you to all of those that came and gave well wishes and cards and all that kind of stuff for her graduation. We really appreciated that. And the graduation ceremony went very smoothly, and yeah, life is really good. Of course, sending your kid off to college, that's always a bittersweet moment, but I think it's going to be good. She's going to be going into law enforcement, or that's her plans right now anyway. She wants to go into law enforcement, but she can't get into the police academy until she's 21, I think, and so she's going to go to college and get her gen eds and try to get an associate's degree to go with going into the police academy. So she's got some stuff to fall back on. Now, while we were planning for this, graduation reception and the ceremony and everything, we had family come into town, and there was a birthday party celebrate. Well, actually, we've had a couple birthday parties celebrated. My daughter also turned 18, and so it's just been very busy. And we've made some trips to St. Joe to get various things for the reception. We've went to Kansas City to get stuff. And during these busy weeks, my wife also decided to do a few little makeovers around the house. So as you could see, I got the new IKEA shelves. Finally got them built, got them put up. This is probably not what they're finally going to look like, because with IKEA, you can buy extra shelves. And so I have an extra shelf for both of these sides, and I think I'm going to go ahead and put it in. I don't want to waste, so I'm going to put it in, and I got to trade some books out. So I want to try to maximize my shelf space. And anyway, my wife is in love with the white shelves, and she really likes the look of it, the clean look. I liked the black shelves, but I also like these white shelves. I do think it looks pretty clean, looks nice, and yeah. Anyway, I'm not an interior designer, so I can't give the full description, but it does look good. And I thank Peg at the history shelf. My wife, she'd peek over my shoulder when I was watching videos of book hauls and stuff from Peg, and she's of course got those nice clean white bookshelves behind her, and my wife kept saying, man, those look good. I want to have shelves just like that. And so that was our inspiration, I guess. And so my wife wanted to copy off her a little bit, and we did that. And then also right here in front of the shelves, we used to have a big desk that we'd pay bills and do all that kind of stuff, and it was kind of a big bulky thing. And my wife wanted to turn this more into a reading nook, kind of a reading area. And so she bought a table at IKEA that looks a little bit like a library table, and so it's open underneath and on the sides. There's no drawers and stuff like that, and so it cleans it up and opens up the room. We got rid of that big desk, gave it to my father-in-law, and so she got all this built yesterday while I was at school, and got a chair built. Of course, we got 3 extra chairs that came with the table, but we'll figure out something to do with those. But anyway, we've got a new look here at the Ruttenberg Library, and I really hope you like the look of the shelves. So I wanted to, in this video, not only give you those little updates. Life is good, busy but good, and but I also wanted to give you an update on my books, because of those last couple weeks that we've been going back and forth to town. I've also gotten to stop at the bookstore. I've picked up a couple of items, and I had a mail haul recently. Steve Donahue sent me a little package, and I'm very, very pleased with the books that he sent, and I'll show you those. But anyway, right now what I'm reading is, I have been doing a buddy read for, it's like 2.5 months now, with Brian. Brian finished the book. I am way, way behind. I'm telling you, this time of year I don't get a whole lot read. If I do read something, it's fiction. Because life is too busy to even concentrate. But I am still reading on the Civil War. But now that Shelby Foote's first volume in his trilogy, now that school is over, I should be able to really hit this hard and get it done. And then I'll go back to Brian's notes and share with him my thoughts. I'm about halfway through it. I've been about halfway through it for over a month now. I'm kind of embarrassed to say that. I was not a very good buddy reader this time. That was not on purpose. Had nothing to do with Brian. That was all me. But it's a good book. Been reading that. Recently, also, John Grisham came out last month at the end of April. Was it the 24th, 25th of April, something like that? Came out with his new book, his new novel, Sully. And I purchased that. As you know, I'm an avid John Grisham fan, and I love to read his books. And this one is pretty interesting. I've had it by the nightstand, and I'm probably about a quarter of the way through it. And the story takes place, it starts out in South Sudan, and it gives a full description of life in South Sudan and the civil wars that are breaking out. And it has this young man, and his name is Samuel Suleiman. His friends call him Sully, and he's got some athleticism, but he's extremely raw, and he gets on a traveling team to go to the United States to play basketball. And the hopes for these guys is that the guys that get picked for this team is that they'll get picked up by a college recruiter and get a free education for playing basketball. Sully is very, very raw. He's missing a lot of little things in basketball, but you can't teach height. You can't teach jumping. I mean, there's only so much that you can teach, and he's got some natural abilities that one of the coaches picks up on. And anyway, they're in the United States, and while they're in some of these tournaments, civil war breaks out, and the rebels destroy his village, and there's some death in the family, and he's really worried about his family, but he also gets picked up by a college, and so now he's got to make the tough decision: do I go back home after my family, or do I play basketball, or could I do both? Play basketball and maybe try to get my family back to the United States to keep them safe. And so this is pretty interesting. This is John Grisham's first basketball novel, and so I am enjoying that. I am sure that as soon as school is done here in the next 2 days, that I will be able to knock this out pretty quick, because I knocked out a quarter of it really fast, and this is one I probably could finish over the weekend, to be honest. There's also a book that I've got that I've been reading. What did I do with it? I can't find it. never mind. It's around here somewhere, but it is Ivanovich. What is her name? And now I'm going blank on that too. But it's a Stephanie Plume novel, and I've been reading that. One of the teachers at school really likes reading those, just for something to take your mind off of stuff. And my mom brought me a box of paperbacks. I'm not going to show you all the paperbacks she brought me, but that was in the box, and I was like, oh, that teacher's always talking about this. I thought I'd give that a try. And so I've been reading that in the evening and in the mornings just a little bit, but that's been interesting. It's definitely not something that's going to gain me knowledge in any way, but it's a fun one. Another book that my mother had in that box that I am kind of excited to read, because I've seen the movie on this and I really liked the movie, the Lincoln Lawyer. I liked Matthew McConaughey's depiction of the main lawyer, Mickey Haller, and I'm hoping that I'll enjoy this book also. It says, I'll read the back cover to you. It's by Michael Connelly, and of course this is the movie cover. It is let's see here. It's from 2005, I believe. 2005. This is a 2011 book, it looks like, with the movie cover. Or maybe I lied. 2006. 2006 when it came out, and this is a 2011 cover. So it says, for defense attorney Mickey Haller, the clock is always running. With 2 ex-wives, 4 Lincoln Town cars that he uses as offices, and dozens of guilty clients, he can't afford to miss a trick. When he gets picked by a Beverly Hills rich boy arrested for assault, Mickey sees a franchise case. A nice, long, expensive trial with maximum billable hours, until it hurdles him into the last place he wants to be. Suddenly hustling, cynical Mickey Haller is confronted with pure evil and someone who may be truly innocent. Now, for a lawyer who has always gone for the easy score, getting justice means taking the deadliest risk of all. And so I'm hoping I'll enjoy that. I think it'll be a fast read, kind of like the movie was pretty fast-paced, I thought. So when we went to move to the next item here, when we went to get these bookshelves down in Kansas City at IKEA, we had stopped at Barnes & Noble on the way there, and I was able to pick up a couple of items there that were marked down, a couple books that were marked down. I also picked up a magazine, the Civil War Times, and so this looks really interesting. The headline is Dead Letter Office, Unknown Soldiers, the remarkable and poignant story of the war's undeliverable mail. And so this is going to be, I think, a good read. Interesting articles. I always like Civil War Times, and I like all of the, from HistoryNet, all of the history magazines that I come across. They always got great maps, and of course the photography's good, along with some really good authors that contribute to the magazines. I've always loved these magazines. So what I try to do, of course, I bought that one off of the newsstand, but at Barnes & Noble. But what I try to do is when they send you stuff in the mail for a really cheap subscription, that's when I try to buy a subscription. And sometimes you can get them pretty cheap. And World War II magazine sent me one that was really cheap. And if you answered within 5 days, you got 2 free magazine, or 2 like specialty magazines that came along with the subscription. And my specialty magazines came in yesterday, and so I'm really excited about those. It says Daring Strikes, World War II's boldest moments. And of course it includes Ike's D-Day, Midway, Moxie, Heydrich assassination, double agents, Macon raid, Manstein at Kharkov, and Allied subs hunt the Nazis. And so this is going to be a good one, I think. Pretty excited to read that. I was flipping through that last night. And then the second free magazine I got is War is Hell. Guernica Horror, Hamburger Hill, Misery and Peleliu, The Kaiser's Grim Reaper, Tank Gunner's Brutal Story, Submarine Panic, and Water Torture. And so these will be real good to add in short articles that are fairly easy to understand with great photography. It's like here's some pictures there from the inside. These always add to my knowledge for World War II, gives me some extra stuff to talk about. Here's some more photography. Great stuff there, I think. Oh, excuse me. And then when you go into the door at Barnes & Noble, oftentimes they'll have the Markdown books, and then you walk through a clearance section and stuff. And on the Markdown rack, I found a couple of these coffee table books. And these are fun to look at for just general knowledge of subjects. And this one was originally a $15 book, and it was marked down to $5. And it comes from National Geographic, so you know the photography is going to be great. This is The Old West by Stephen Hyslop. Hopefully I said that right. But this is a hardback book. Again, $5. You can't beat $5. But if you look inside here, the story's always good. The photography's great. It's got awesome maps as National Geographic always does. And this one's on, like I said, the Old West. Always interested in reading some new stuff on the Old West. And I thought maybe this would go to my classroom, but I'm pretty sure this is actually going to stay right here at my house. I like that book. And then I picked up another one, same thing, National Geographic, $15 originally, got it for $5. This one's a paperback or a soft cover, and it's The Untold Civil War, Exploring the Human Side of War. And it's by James Robertson. And I got some other books by James Robertson, and he's a pretty good author. But and I think this is, when I was flipping through it, this is, telling the stories of things that you don't necessarily read about in the everyday books on the Civil War. So you got prosthetic arms, you got different types of shoes, you got some of the stuff in the news. So this has got just different subjects, great photography. Plight of the Runaway. So it hits all these we'll call them rabbit trails. It's like a book of rabbit trails, basically, on the Civil War. And I absolutely love rabbit trails. They are fun to read about. Great, like I said, great photos and everything. So anyway, that's going to be a lot of fun to read. And it's something the chapters are small enough, you could, take it a day at a time and spend a month or two just kind of flipping through that each day. It's good stuff. All right, so now to the main event. These are the 3 books that Steve Donahue sent me in the mail. Super excited, very grateful for this. He was very, very kind to send these to me. They are all of, Civil War genre. And so this first one is The Last Citadel, Petersburg, Virginia, June 1864 to April 1865 by Noah Andre Trudeau. And I do not have anything on Petersburg, I don't believe. And so the great thing about these books, they are all brand new topics. I mean, I know of the people, but I don't have any books on them. No biographies, no campaign histories, and I love these. This is great. This is a 1991 book, and it is Louisiana State University Press out of Baton Rouge, and it's just good. I'm real excited. It talks about each of the commanders. It's got great maps. I always like maps to help explain stuff. I'm a map guy, and so this is going to be a lot of great fun. It says, I'll go ahead and read the back covers of these 3 books he sent. This one says, The Last Citadel is the only full-length treatment of the most extensive military operation of the Civil War, the Siege of Petersburg, Virginia, which by its bloody end had added more than 70,000 casualties to the war's total. Because it lay astride 5 major railroad lines that supplied Richmond, the Confederate capital, Petersburg was the key to the war effort in the East. With the same dogged determination that had seen him through the overland campaign, General Ulysses S. Grant fixed his sights on the capture of the city. His Confederate counterpart and General Robert E. Lee was equally determined that Petersburg would not fall. Noah Andre Trudeau's compelling account of the siege of Petersburg is told largely through the words of the men and women who were there, including officers, common soldiers, and the town's citizens. What emerges is an epic story rich in human incident and adventure. To say this is the stuff of high drama is an understatement. Trudeau paints a picture filled with horrors and terrors of war, but he refuses to take sides in the struggle between a relentless North and the determined South. He gives his readers history at its best, readable, human, and backed by detailed research. And that last little statement comes from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. And Burke Davis said, "The Last Citadel is the most impressive, almost like an account of a newly discovered war. How Trudeau amassed so much fresh material is a wonder. I found the narrative powerful and compelling, and the air of authenticity complete. This is the first real Civil War narrative I have read in years." And so that is going to be great fun. I'm going to enjoy that, again, adding to my Civil War knowledge. The next one is by William Marvel, and it is Radical Sacrifice, The Rise and Ruin of Fitz John Porter. And you've seen this one on a couple of different channels. Of course, Steve Donahue, and then I want to say that Peg had got this book also. I think she was maybe even going to review it. Hope I'm right on that, but it looks very, very interesting. And this is a newer book. It is this year, 2021, from the University of North Carolina Press. And I'll read the inside flap to you. It says, "Born into a distinguished military family, Fitz John Porter was educated at West Point and brevetted for bravery in the war with Mexico. Already a well-respected officer at the outset of the Civil War, as a general in the Union Army, he became a favorite of George McClellan's, who chose him to command the 5th Corps of the Army of the Potomac. Porter and his troops fought heroically and well at Gaines' Mill and Malvern Hill. His devotion to the Union cause seemed unquestionable until fellow Union generals John Pope and Irvin McDowell blamed him for their own battlefield failures at Second Bull Run. As a confidant of the Democrat and limited war proponent McClellan, Porter found himself targeted by radical Republicans intent on turning the conflict to the cause of emancipation. He made the perfect scapegoat, and a court-martial packed with compliant officers dismissed him for disobedience of orders and misconduct before the enemy. Porter tenaciously pursued vindication after the war, and in 1879 an Army Commission finally reviewed his case, completely exonerating him. Obstinately partisan resistance from old Republican enemies still denied him even nominal reinstatement for 6 more years. This revealing new biography by William Marvel cuts through received wisdom to show Fitz John Porter as he was, a respected commander whose distinguished career was ruined by political machinations within Lincoln's administration. Marvel lifts the cloud that shadowed Porter over the last 4 decades of his life, exposing the spiteful radical Republicans who refused to restore his rank long after his exoneration and never restored his benefits. Re-examining the relevant primary evidence from the full arc of Porter's life and career, Marvel offers significant insights into the intersections of politics, war, and memory. All right, and so that's going to be, I think, a pretty good one. Pretty excited about that. I don't have anything on Fitz John Porter, and I also I don't know much about him. This is going to be a lot of new information for me, so I'm pretty excited about that. And then the last book that Steve Donahue sent me is on Admiral David Dixon Porter by Chester G. Hearn. It's from a book, or it's from the Civil War years. In this book, I have nothing on Admiral Porter. I'm very excited to read this. It's in great shape. This book is. It is a, 1996 book, and it is from the Naval Institute Press out of Annapolis. And like I said, I don't have anything on David Porter, so this is all going to be brand new stuff for me. And I'll read the back cover. It's pretty short here. It says, the firebrand hero of the New Orleans, Vicksburg, and Port Fisher, David Dixon Porter, was one of the most distinguished Union admirals to fight in the Civil War, and the most controversial. He rose from lieutenant to rear admiral in less than 2 years, fighting in more battles and winning more laurels than any other senior officer. Early on, he demonstrated a rare combination of tireless energy, unusual intelligence, remarkable innovativeness, and a hard-driven fighting instinct that compared with Generals Grant and Sherman. But he also got into countless scrapes and had to extricate himself from many near disasters, and he lived his life with many detractors. Today, Porter is counted among the most colorful U.S. naval officers who ever commanded a squadron. And so this is going to be great. Going to add to my knowledge. I don't have very much on the Navy, and definitely not from the Civil War Navy. And so this is going to be great. Thank you so much, Steve. This was awesome. This was a great, I think it was Saturday I got them in the mail. And so that was a great surprise Saturday. So anyway, BookTube, I hope everyone's doing really well. Summer is coming, and I'm real excited. Baseball season's going. We got games starting next Monday. We've got games Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the following week it's, I want to say, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday again. It's going to be loaded. I might be off by one game there. I can't remember, but I know we have a lot of games in the first 2 weeks, and we'll see if we're worth anything. But anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now that life is slowing down just a little bit, I know that sounds like it's speeding up, but school's done now. Just 2 days, today and tomorrow, 2 days left of teacher in service, and then we are out for summer, and I can kind of take a deep breath from a very, very chaotic year that saw us doing a lot of new stuff in education with the use of Zoom and online learning, and I know I learned a lot. I know I'm very, very thankful for being in my classroom. So BookTube, I really hope that you guys are having a great day. I hope everybody's healthy. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you to all the new subscribers. I really appreciate that. And until next time, BookTube, happy reading.